No, not at this point. He's been really good though, Josh. He's developed right across the year. He'll be a really exciting part of our future. But this week's obviously Tales' 200th, so Tales will come back in. We'll get Tex back as well. So yeah, we'll probably get a little more games experience in for the last round, and not the debut. Yeah, DMAC as well. Yeah, so from an experience point of view, obviously DMAC missing through suspension. His form was really strong coming into that. We felt Tex, getting a freshen up. His form was also really strong, and coming off the back of a number of wins, we're looking forward to having those guys back in.
Not too far off the sort of best team on the park to attack the Richmond team.
Coming against the best, yeah, up against the benchmark. Obviously, last year's premiers. It's an exciting way to finish. We couldn't ask for a better way to finish, considering the year it's been a disappointing one, ultimately with results. But we've finished off really strongly. We've shown, we've stuck to the plan that we've had for the year, and this would be a nice way to finish off, to sort of test ourselves against the best in the competition.
Potentially DMAC's last game for the club next year, or has he done enough in the second half of the year since he's been in the team to warrant getting a look at another deal?
Hard one to answer. It's going to be, I know you're going to ask me a question about a lot of our guys, but we still don't know where the list goes next year at this point. We've been given a couple of options of what it might look like, but until we know for sure, it's hard to make any calls, or it's impossible to make any calls around who'll be here and who won't be. There's a few, as I've said in the previous weeks, that we've had conversations with. DMAC's not one of those. We feel his form this year's been really strong. He's had a really strong year, so that'll be a conversation we'll have with him over probably the coming month or so. I mean, we've got a trade period that we've got to come to. We've got a draft. We'll find out about list sizes. If they're back to 40, what does that mean for our group? They could be at 42, so we won't lock anything away as yet.
When you say have conversations with guys previously, as in brace yourself that it may not go your way, or we may have to make a call?
Yeah, just the reality around the challenge that we've now got. As a league, there's going to be a lot of people that won't be going forward in the industry, both on field and off field, and it's this is a really challenging time for everyone involved. It's been that sort of year, but at this point in time, there's a lot of uncertainty still, exactly where we finish up from a numbers point of view, and so it'll be an interesting couple of months.
I've had something this week with like today, and then the big sort of full session you had a couple of days ago with everyone on the track, knowing that whether it's a few players or even coaches, it's quite possibly the last session. How does that impact it?
We got the full group together in the last session, so earlier in the week. That was great, because the guys that are non-selected and have been in that position for the last month or so, it's been quite a grind for them. They've done it really well. We couldn't have asked for more, but from a staffing point of view, we're business as usual. The boys have gone to work, and as you said before, this is the biggest challenge we've had, for a number of games. So we're looking to finish really strong. Staffing wise, we're heads down going to work, but post game we come out of what is the hub or the bubble after the game, and it'll be nice to get together and talk about the development we saw this year, talk about some of the really positive things we saw out of the season, that in the end, we're fighting this weekend not to finish on the bottom. We'll be doing everything we possibly can to get that win.
You've had some great call on. When do you think you might call on your assistants?
Again, it's in the similar position to what we're talking about with players. We'll look to develop from within, as we've talked right throughout the year, and we've seen some real progress in that space. But there will be a balance of not ignoring a lot of the talent that's now, I guess, not sure where it sits in the industry, because there's a lot of cutbacks across the board. So we're all about getting better. We're all about improving, and we'll do whatever we need to get that done.
How much of your core team would you like to get together? Is there an advantage to having a group that's understood 12 months worth of game plan, or is external talent more of a priority?
Again, it's a balance, yeah. Of the work we've done this year, there's no doubt as a new coach coming in, it takes some time to work with your coaching group, and I think we've done that really well this year. It's our players on field, we haven't seen the results, but we've definitely gone through a transition of what we were putting out on the park early. There was probably some grey in it, but then the clarity, when that came through, we've been really proud of what the guys have put out there. So to answer your question, there's always a balance. There's a balance with all of that, and it's just weighing up what is out there and how much more growth we think we've got from within.
Could the improvement of the last month, Nixie, have changed a few perceptions internally about who may go or stay at the end of the season? Given that you work so hard to turn things around, you pinpoint back to the Geelong game. It's been a month of improvement, really.
Yeah, there has been. I mean, it's been a really positive way to finish the season, but you're probably talking about the last 3 games. We feel it's been a lot more positive than that, for 8 weeks or so. We've had some drop-offs where we've travelled to, some tough challenges, away games that we haven't performed, and we've been inconsistent, but on the whole, there's been some really positive stuff. And when we talk staff, we're talking about, the entire football department. We're talking high performance, connecting that up with both our administration as well as our coaching group. So, we've seen some really positive growth throughout what's been a challenging year.
You've had some big performances from a lot of senior players over the last few weeks, but how big has Brad been since he's come back into the team?
Yeah, Brad's been great. He's come in and he's complemented what we've been working on in there. He had the advantage of being able to sit back and watch a fair bit of that development. Prior to Brad coming in, we saw Matty really find his game, Matty Crouch, Sloaney coming back into that group. Even Rory Laird's game went to another level. Right at this point in time, getting Brad in alongside those guys really did complement, as I said, what they'd been doing. So, there's a lot of stuff probably that people don't see off ball too that we've been working on with our whole midfield group. That we're really pleased with what we're seeing. We've still got a long way to go, but we're confident we're going in the right direction.
And I know as management you make calls on everyone, but when do you have to make a call on him? Obviously, there's a bit different situation with him. When does that get decided? Do you think ideally?
Yeah, but it's similar to. It's not as simple as making a call on Brad. The same way it's not as simple as Brad making a call on us. It's one that'll play out over the next month or so. And I'm with you guys. I would love to know all this as soon as possible and get it locked away, but that's not the case. And we understand that's free agency. That's what we're working with. So that'll play itself out, and we'll have to wait and see.
You tell him that when you have the chat with him, you tell him that you'd love for him to stay, or are you sort of this, we've got a balance that's happening with you and us and everyone else in the industry? How are those? What's the sort of vibe of those chats?
That is exactly as you put it. It's a balance of what's best for the organisation, what's best for Brad. I'd love to keep all the best players we possibly can. Unfortunately, there's a salary cap that we have to abide by, so it makes it hard to do that. But we've been really open with our chats through that. So I'm really comfortable. Brad knows where I sit as far as where we'd like to head, but there's so many different doors that need to slide open and close for us to get to a result.
Sounds like a sort of line ball that asked you, that was Brad Crouch's last training session at Crows.
Well, it's a hard one to answer. It's one I can't at this point. It's like with every player we spoke about. When you talk about DMAC and you talk about other players, we could throw up every player on the list and talk through it, because you've got a trade period, you've got a draft coming up, which we'll be very active in because of the way we've finished this season. So I can't answer it really.
Looking long term, is an early pick, if the recipe goes your way and pick 2 is on the table for Brad, is that more valuable to you as a new coach or a building club than what Brad could provide?
No, again, it's one that I can't answer right at this point, because there's so many more things involved in just that. As simple as saying Brad v pick 2, that's something I can't answer at this point, because there's a lot more involved.
What is a loss or a win when they do going into what could be a very long off season this week? Can it harm you a great deal having regressive, and can it go the other way with a good win?
Well, we really want to get an idea of where we're at, where we finished I thought last week was a really good sign for us that we were able to hold on against a side that had showed they can come back and challenge, especially in second half. So we got a real positive out of that. This will be our biggest challenge, and we'd love to be able to perform in it. It doesn't necessarily mean win and loss. It means perform and come off and feel good about the direction we're heading in. We got massive amount of respect for what this club has, or what Richmond have done over previous years, and they are the benchmark. So that's really what we're doing. We're going to get an idea of where we're at. If that doesn't go our way and we don't get the result we're after, well, we'll learn from that. There'll be some really good learnings out of it. But I'd like to think if we come and perform the way we have in previous weeks, that win or lose, we'll come off with the result we're after, which is we're going the right direction.